And welcome to the House of Fandom. I'm your host, Clark, on the check-in. And I am joined by my amazing cohorts, my partners in crime. Partners in crime up in from the great frozen tundra. Starting off with my man, Spike. What is up, brother? How are you?
What's going on?
What
buddy?
is going on?
What's going on? Welcome to another week, fellas. I'm excited. I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Let's get to it.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited, too. What's up with you, man? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We don't have steel trucks. We don't have big rigs. We don't have a Hulk, but we do have a Sherman tank. What's up, brother?
What's going on, fellas? Ready to get this done. Actually, back-to-back weeks. Haven't done that in a while. Ready to close out this this mediocre at best show.
Hey, listen, we got a pretty good show today. I'm pretty excited about it.
No, not this show. This show is great. I'm talking about the book of Boba Fett is the mediocre.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll have to see about
House
that.
of Fandom is a fantastic show.
Hey, what's up? First of all, everybody that's joining on the chat room, Mac J, Stephanie D, what is up? Kiara Combs, and what's up, John H. This is the House of Fandom, and we're super excited to be talking about everything in fandom world, and we are going to kick things off with something we like to call in these parts fandom news. Ladies and gentlemen, Tank is going to take us on that fandom news journey. What you got in that fandom bag, brother?
All right, we got lucky last minute. I almost didn't have a trailer this week. I was due. No trailers. We got lucky last minute. I got a trailer for Jurassic World Dominion.
So here's the thing on that Jurassic World Dominion, right? Because I'm showing the play card up in here right now. I'm excited about this. Obviously, when the folks see the trailer that we're gonna play, but I just want to get your take on this. Obviously, in the picture that I'm showing, we've got the three main peeps from the actual, original, the OGs, I like to call them. Let me just ask you, Spike, being an OG yourself, like myself, what do you think of them bringing back Jeff Goldblum's character, Sam Neill, and Laura Dern, the original OGs from the original Jurassic Park from back in 1993?
Damn, 93. I didn't
Yes,
realize
sir.
it was that long ago, man.
It was.
You know what? I think it's genius, to be honest with you. Well, I can't say genius, but I think it's smart. Because they've gone a lot of different ways with Jurassic Park. I mentioned this to you guys before. I still get giddy at the Jurassic Park movies. I think they're great. I love the graphics, the sound effects, and the dinosaurs. So I think this is pretty cool to bring them back and let us kind of see them aged and where they are today and how they feel about things. Plus,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little biased because I'm a huge Jeff Goldblum fan. I love.
Oh
that
yeah,
guy, man.
I
So
mean,
I'm
he's
excited
just
to see
he
him.
oozes cool, man.
Don't even. But nerdy cool though.
Yeah.
Like,
What's
he ain't
going on?
meant to be,
Oh,
but
this
he
is
is.
feeling groovy. I'm ready to see this groovy trailer. Oh yeah.
dude, I've been a fan of his since The Fly, bro. Seriously.
Oh yeah. All
So,
right. Well, I'm excited about it, Tank. Before we hit the play button and play this trailer premiere, are you excited as much as we are about Jurassic World Dominion?
Yeah, I am. I mean, the last few, I enjoyed them, but they kind of have that Fast and Furious feel where I enjoyed them, but the story was still, a little. It was more nostalgia wise enjoyment, more so than actually having a good story.
right.
I think So yeah, I'm excited for it.
It's
All
a
right.
thriller, man.
All right, well, let's take a look, everybody.
Thriller.
The premiere of Jurassic World Dominion, the first official teaser trailer for the movie that comes out this summer.
Let it rip.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch. Creation is an act of sheer will. Life will find a way.
We can't keep her here forever.
They find her, we're never gonna see her again. We gotta protect her. That's our job.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
We're racing toward the extinction of our species. We not only lack dominion over nature, we're subordinate to it.
Come back.
I always come back.
That's another plane, right?
Not exactly.
Don't move. Bigger. Why do they always have to go bigger?
All right, we are back, and I gotta tell you, that trailer was fire, bro. I was feeling all kinds of nostalgia on that, but let me just kick it to you, Tank. First off, what'd you think of the trailer? Did you like what you saw? And, are you excited about this June 10th release of Jurassic World Dominion?
Oh, yeah, I love what I saw. Looks like it's gonna be dope. Dinosaurs roaming around the world, just hopefully destroying stuff. But then you got some of the nice ones who will probably help them. We're interested to see they show like the one scene where they were showing like DNA, like they were splicing DNA. Then right after that, they showed the one, I don't know what type of dinosaur it is, but it was like a raptor with bird wings. Yeah, that's what I need. A flying raptor. Yeah, that's what I need. Just imagine going around, walking down the park, you just see a flying raptor. Come down and
dude, that to me was like, you got to remember though, from the first Jurassic Park, when Dr. Grant, played by the great Sam Neill, who's returning, one of the OGs, right? He had said that the original dinosaur velociraptors had feathers, remember, to the kid, and then he was telling the kid he'll rip you apart, right? So I am just like, this right here to me is so freaking like exciting, bro, to see this come to fruition where the dinosaurs are inhabiting our world. What do you got to say about that, Spike? Because I'm telling you, man, I got some serious nostalgia vibes, and I am super excited about watching this movie. What do you think?
Nostalgia is great. Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice little throwback, but I'm gonna be real with you. This is terrifying. Okay? I love it. I love it. It's just like Tank just said, bro. It's bad enough to walk out because they're not on the island now. You walk out of a Pizza Hut or some random restaurant, man, a bagel shop, and a raptor walks by, you're gonna crap a brick, okay? But now they have feathers, looks like wings and all this other stuff, and they're roaming the regular world. Dude, there's a T-Rex at the drive-in. Come on, B. I'm here for the mayhem. Don't get me wrong. That's my favorite part about Jurassic Park. I want the mayhem. Yeah, exactly. But keep it on film, baby, because in real life, I can't handle it. And as exciting as this is for me, I could have never gone to that island. And I'm a science geek. I love the whole aspect of it. Even the idea that they could redo this and splice and crossbreed dinosaurs. That to me is fascinating. But I'm not going to that island, bro. I don't care how many cages they got. You can forget it.
I don't think I'm going to that island either. That's for sure. I'm excited about it, man. This is cool, man, because Stephanie D says shivers down my spine. Listen, this is what we've been waiting for since '93. Okay, to realize that we got a little taste of it. I believe it was, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was 97 when we got Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park. Or 2, I think it was Jurassic. No, it wasn't Jurassic World. It was Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
Yep, Lost World.
That's what it was. But you guys got to remember when they brought in the T-Rex, right? They brought him into that ship, and then he ran amok in San Diego. I thought that was brilliant. While it was a little bit cornball the way they portrayed it, you know what I mean? Because it kind of got a lot of jokes and stuff. But I got to tell you, that was a little bit of a teaser, right? So then we get the Jurassic World movies, right? And some of us may like it more than others, but man, I got to tell you, this is going to be a big payoff. If they've done it right, if they've done it as good as we can see in this trailer, I am super excited about it. And I'm just, I'm ready for it, man. This is going to be a blockbuster for sure.
I think so, absolutely. And let me ask you, is still, this is probably a dumb question, but Spielberg still producing?
Yes, but he's not
I don't
directing.
think he's directing. He's not directing, but he's still producing. Yeah, so I'm confident in the script. For all the old guns to come back, even if some of them haven't had a lot of work, I still believe that it would have to be a good script, and for them to be all together as one like that. These throwbacks are building back up for us. Getting a chance to see a lot of the people from original films where we didn't necessarily have the trilogies or the back-to-backs. So
right,
saw what it did for Ghostbusters.
Man,
absolutely. I mean, but it was done right, though. I think the problem
that's
is
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Afterlife, not the.
Right.
Not the remake.
Well,
Afterlife.
even though I didn't see the remake, though, let me say this: I think the idea of the remake was to be fun and different. So I'm not opposed to it per se. I didn't watch it yet though, because I didn't hear it was super good. But the throwback though. Afterlife was very well done, very well written.
The remake was good, but Afterlife was just better because it had that nostalgia. It had them. I think they were in there really quick. At least they were in there really quick, but they weren't the original characters.
Yeah,
and the remake. So
I think a lot of people wanted to see
the same nostalgia.
There was a lot of visceral too. There was a lot of people that didn't like it, but. Anyway, we could go on and on and on. We've actually had, if you guys haven't had a chance already, whoever's tuning in right now, we went and reviewed Ghostbusters Afterlife. And so if you get a chance, go check it out. And we did some nostalgia in reviewing the original Ghostbusters. So check it out. Now, back to you, Tank. What else we got in the fandom bag today?
All right. So to all those who were waiting for to see Spider-Man No Way Home, the few of you who haven't already, or anyone who's just waiting to watch it again on streaming, have some good or bad news depending how you see it. To anyone who thought that it was going to be on Disney Plus, that's not going to happen. It's going to stream exclusively to Stars sometime in the next 6 months for 18 months exclusively.
So
18 months?
Yeah, 18 months. That's a long time. And from what I understand,
sometime in the next 6 months. So might have to wait 6 months and then 18 months.
Yeah, I'm hearing the same. I'm hearing that they got $100 million for the rights for that. So it's just blockbuster money being exchanged. I am surprised that Disney didn't get first dibs, considering that they're co-producing along with Sony Pictures. But
none of the other ones are on there. Like Homecoming or Far From Home, they're not even on.
That's what I'm saying.
Disney Plus.
Sony did that on purpose, bro.
Listen, I was surprised about that because I just think that I thought for sure that they would have it on Disney Plus immediately. Once it went to video on demand and paper cable and all that stuff. But hey, listen, at the end, everybody's going to purchase this. They loved the Spider-Man No Way Home. It was a blockbuster. So honestly, do not foresee this as being a really big issue, but I think it's a windfall for Stars. They're the ones that are going to benefit the most from it. So if you got the cable channel Stars, obviously Stars will be looking to get some subscribers from all this $100 million investment in one movie. But anyway, Cliff Bravo says Afterlife was popping. Yes, it was. Now, what else do we have in the fandom bag, sir?
So we got finally got an official poster for the Disney Plus Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and also a release date of May 25th.
All right, so let's talk about this, and I'm playing it right.
Should have been May 4th, just saying.
Yeah, I'm playing this right. I agree with you there. It should have been May the 4th be with you, but I'm gonna tell you something. I am excited about this Star Wars show. Star Wars shows have been uneven. Obviously, we're going to review the finale of the Book of Boba Fett, but I know that that Tank is anxious to. He's carving his knife right now, but before we get to that, Obi-Wan Kenobi, for me, that is going to be the show to watch. This is where you bring in Darth Vader. And that dynamic between the time of him, becoming Darth Vader from Anakin turning to the dark side up until the, episode 1, which was the New Hope, right? With Luke Skywalker and everybody else. But, Tank, are you excited about this show? I mean, we all know your history with Star Wars, but like, what was your, take on this first, teaser poster? Obviously the silhouette. You've got Obi-Wan Kenobi and Tatooine. What do you think?
I'm gonna start charging you for every time you mention that.
Well, I have to get my plug. You know that.
Yeah, I'm going to start charging you. No, I'm excited for it. Obi-Wan Kenobi, one of my favorite characters in the prequels. I'm excited. They're gonna bring Hayden Christensen back to play Darth Vader. Hoping they can bring back Darth Maul. I know he was in like the Clone Wars. And then also he was in that Solo movie, so obviously he's alive. So hopefully, he can get a lot of old dope characters back in. I'm excited for it. Can't wait for it to come out. But like I said, they really kind of missed it by not doing it on May 4th.
I'm with you on that one though. That's a little disheartening to say the least that you wouldn't do May the 4th. But I guess they aiming for that holiday because you're the numbers man, Clark. So that's probably Memorial Day weekend, right around that time.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
they're aiming for holiday money.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think it's brilliant that they're doing it at that time, and you're going to get a lot of people excited. So I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. I'm here to see it. Make no bones about it. This is going to be fire. This is my word of the day. This is what all the youngsters be saying is fire. Okay, I'm gonna just say right now it's fire. Anyway, I'm excited about it. Did I say that excitement again? Did I register that to you guys? Because I'm super excited about it. But
a little bit more.
Take it back to. Let me take it to Spike here. You and I have a love and of a nostalgia of Star Wars. What is your concern about Obi-Wan Kenobi? If you have a concern, what is your concern about watching Obi-Wan Kenobi?
This is a series, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I believe it's only 6 episodes, by the way.
Mm-hmm. The only real concern, because I love the casting choices. Let me just put that out there. I always have. I thought they did a good job with that. But my only concern is now, let's say that. This is a recent concern. Is that we're going to get that unnecessary content or dragging out of the series.
Kind of Boba Fett.
But I will say this, exactly, like the book. But I will say this. I don't feel like it's going to be a huge concern for me. I would say it's right around 15%.
Okay.
Out of 100. Because I feel like they had more time to really develop this and really think about how they wanted to write it, what they wanted to touch on, and who we're going to see.
Okay.
I've stood firm on the Boba, but I am excited about it. I think it's going to be great. I'm excited to see Darth Vader again. He's my favorite.
Oh yeah, it's gonna
I
be great.
absolutely love
It's
Vader, man.
it's gonna be dope. I'm excited about it too.
Yeah.
What else you got in that fandom bag as we move along through fandom news, good sir?
Big in that
Not really any more news. Just kind of want to have a quick little discussion with you guys. Just see if y'all feel the same as I do. Just like the overall lack of hype and overall talk about the Batman comes on like a month, and you would think you would be hearing more about it, or be more excitement or more advertising about it. They do posters and everything, but there's just not a lot of hype that you would think that would come from a Batman movie, especially when you look at how obviously Spider-Man was a different story, but still there was talking about that crazy. Everyone was talking about that up until it came out, and after it came out, still talking about it. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Spike, what are your thoughts on it? Obviously, you are the resident Bat fanatic from Bat Fandom. Everything and you name it, Batman is your guy.
Everything.
With that said, what do you think about what he's saying? Because I'm actually hearing differently, and I'm a big Superman fan. But what are you thinking on this?
I personally think there is hype on there. I think there's a little bit of fear based off of, we see so many remakes of Batman, and we've had ones in the past, with the Clooney and Val Kilmer Batman, different directors, not really going in a direction that as fans we would love to see. And I feel like that there are going to be some people, myself included, that are a little apprehensive, but are absolutely go and watch. But I think one of the things that you're missing that is highlighting your feels, how you feel about this, Tank, and your thoughts, is that it's such a dark film. We're not seeing the marketing aspect of your restaurants and toys and all. You're not going to get that, which is what we've been getting with all the previous Batman. All the hype and everything, the restaurants or Burger King or McDonald's or whoever is on board, and you're starting to see it plastered everywhere, where this film is so dark, so long, and if it's not R-rated, it's borderline. Nobody's marketing it to kids. So we're only seeing the internet hype, where the trailers, reviews, and little clips and snippets here and there. So I think that's the big difference from what we see. But I do believe in general, people are still definitely excited about it. Absolutely.
I mean, for me, I think the excitement's there, but we've got to remember we're talking about a movie that is very dark, okay? When you have the Joker looking like a serial killer, if for all intents purposes, and then you have the Riddler with makeup of you can't even recognize Colin Farrell, excuse me, Colin Farrell. Colin, what's his last name? Farrell, right?
Farrell. You got
Colin
it.
Farrell. But when you can't recognize him in the pictures, and for those of you that are just joining, if you're looking at this picture here, I'm going to show you the guy in the tuxedo playing the Penguin. That's to the right of Batman. You've got Catwoman there, Zoe Kravitz, and then you've got Paul Dano, who's a great character actor who is portraying the Riddler, but a very dark and sinister Riddler, almost serial killer-esque. And then you have Colin Farrell, who is unrecognizable in this makeup here. It looks to be a fat suit, and then of course Robert Pattinson as Batman. When you see what they're doing with this, they're clearly going for a dark version of Batman in his early years. But I want to bring this to you, Tank. When you think about the Christopher Nolan series of Batman, and I'll get to you too on that, Spike. But Tank, when you think of the Christopher Nolan movies, those were dark too. Those were pretty dark. So especially The Dark Knight, I thought that was extremely dark when you think about it. So I don't think it was tailored to, and The Dark Knight was the first blockbuster to gross over 154 million at the time, was a record for a superhero film. So that one was a huge juggernaut, and it was also dark. So Tank, with that being said, do you feel as though the lack of, or the feelings of not being a true hype machine, that this is going to be impacted because of the dark nature of this film?
No, it's a Batman movie, so people are still gonna see it. I mean, it might hinder some parents from taking their kids. You know, maybe some of the more conservative parents. They might hinder, so you might not get that box office money. But no, I don't think the dark nature is gonna hurt its numbers at all.
Yeah, and this one here, it's straight to the movie. So just for everyone out there in the chat room and that's listening right now, the Batman is going to be released strictly in theaters in March. I believe it was March
3rd, I think 7th. I think it's the 7th.
Actually, I'll confirm it right now. It is actually looking at the release for this will be on March 4th, actually. So March 4th is the release for the Batman. But specifically, that whole HBO Max premiere day and date theater mess that happened in 2021 is long behind us, and I think Warner Brothers and HBO Max are going to keep their releases separate, so we're going to see a straight release. My sources are just telling me that they opened up special sneak previews for all of their IMAX shows. Every single one is sold out. Did you hear me? Every single IMAX that is playing it for that sneak preview, which is over, I think it's close to 2,000 theaters, is sold out. So Tank, while I agree this whole thing cannot be, fully, marketed to kids, right? When you think about it, because it's not like Spider-Man No Way Home, right? The whole family can see it. I still think you're going to get a huge turnout. It's not going to be Spider-Man numbers, but I believe it'll definitely be a record-breaking numbers for the month of March, and it will beat all DC openings, in my humble opinion.
I said I was going to do good numbers.
Right. No, I know you did. I'm saying it's going to do blockbuster numbers. So as long as I disagree with you and say it's going to do blockbuster numbers,
disagree with me
then it'll be fine.
What? No, it's going to do blockbuster numbers. What you going to do?
All right, fine. But I mean, obviously, but Spike, in bringing that point with the Dark Knight, do you agree with what I'm saying with regards to the Dark Knight obviously being dark, and look at the blockbuster numbers that it did?
I absolutely do, and I think this is going to be. How can I say this? It's going to kind of set a bar. It's going to be a wake-up call. That's a good way to put it. A wake-up call to not producers, but the studio heads, the guys with the money, okay? Because for so long, they felt like in these kind of movies, you have to market to the kids, get the family out, get everybody going. This is too dark for a lot of kids and a lot of families, and I believe it's still going to do extremely well, to the point where they'll understand that you can make these movies and we will pay to go see them multiple times, okay? And you're still going to get different people that are going to take their kids to see it. It still will be spread out across, a large and wide fan base for those of us that like to see our characters more true to life, especially with DC, because it's such a dark comic.
Right.
Or company for the comics. And so I'm excited about it. I see that those numbers, like you said, I was checking my area to see if I could get that special release, but it wasn't available. But everybody online has been talking about it as well. Like, nobody can wait to go. I'm not seeing it in IMAX though, which I'm going to see it in Dolby Cinema first.
Yeah, I got to see it.
Go back and see it in IMAX, because Dolby's been killing IMAX for me. So I have to see it in that. But yeah, this is going to be, a huge film. I just hope it's not too much not fluff, but like unnecessary talking and dragging on. I'm really concerned about
too much disposition.
Between Catwoman and him.
If they open up with Thomas and Martha getting killed,
No, I heard they're not. I'm
walking out the theater.
Well, I heard they're not. I don't know, but anything's possible.
I saw a clip. Okay, Thomas and Martha in the alley. They're already dead, and they pan away from Bruce, and it's like some moonlight on him. And when he looks up, he sparkles because he's Edward.
Okay.
You know,
because he's Edward. You're hilarious. For those of you that didn't get that pun, that is Robert Pattinson's role in Twilight, I believe it is, right? Is that what the teens were calling it?
That's the name of it.
That's the name of the movie. But yeah.
Real quick, Melquan the General's in the building. Salute to you, Melquan. Salute to you, sir. He says he's starting to learn how to speak Jawa now, ever since he watched the Mandalorian and Boba Fett. Good for you, Melquan. Also, too, Davey, I'm very surprised. You know, Dave O'Donnell, the resident Star Wars, fanatic, he did not realize that the Obi-Wan show was actually going to Disney Plus. He thought it was a feature film. So there you go. Yeah. So it's actually, it's a Disney Plus series. And here's the thing, what we got to realize here. And Ali says this looks like Deadpool. Batman as Deadpool.
You know what?
So interesting analogy, Ali.
Deadpool's a little bit funnier, but I get
either
it.
that or
it
she
is
was
dark.
maybe comparing the darker nature or not the darker.
Yeah,
nature,
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
The
Yeah, I think
R-rated or close to R-rated or close to R-ratedness.
Yeah, I think it is definitely the darker nature of it all.
Absolutely.
I think, listen, at the end, we will be talking about it. Our coverage will be continuing leading up to the Batman release. We will actually be, in the upcoming weeks, going back in time and actually going in bat time all the way to the 1989 premiere of the classic Michael Keaton, Tim Burton film, Batman, and we will continue on leading up to the release of the Batman. So you want you guys to look out for our retro reviews on all the previous Bat films that precedes the Batman here. So it'll be fun to go back in time and check it out. All right, boys. So Tank, is that all we got for the fandom bag for today, good sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, another awesome, a bit of fandom news out there, and we're excited about it. And I'm definitely excited about that new Jurassic World movie, Dominion. What does Dominion mean? Why do they call it Dominion? Does anybody know that? For the folks in the chat room, does anybody know what Dominion means?
They're making the human world, their dominion.
It's
so like their domain.
Dominate.
Yeah.
So like their domain.
Their domain, their kingdom, where they're going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. I did not know that, gentlemen. So there we go. Okay, I'm here for it. I'll go for it. So our main topic of today is the finale. The final episode of the Book of the I'm sorry, not the Book of the Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. But here do we go. We have already reviewed all of the episodes leading up to this. And so for those of you that have watched the Book of Boba Fett yesterday, or when it came out on Wednesday, what were your thoughts? Let's talk about the Book of Boba Fett. What say you, Tank?
Just this episode, or we're talking about it as a whole?
Well, let's start with this. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We know that you're chomping at the bit. You'll have your moment to tell us about how much you despised the Boba Fett series. But before we get there, let's rate the final episode, the finale of the Book of Boba Fett. Tank, what were your first thoughts of the finale of the Book of Boba Fett?
I mean, it's finally a really good episode. Too little, too late.
So too little, too late. Finally, a good episode, but too little, too late. Okay, well, tell us a little bit about what you liked about this episode, and why do you think it was actually a good episode?
It was also all action. What we were expecting from the beginning. Just shootouts. Everything. Boba finally actually showing, what all the fans said he was, and that, that he was a badass. I know everyone clamored for. He did that finally. It was funny when those big droids came out, I was like, what in the Terminator is going on here?
Well, actually, what in the Phantom Menace is going on here?
But at first,
if you watch
at first they look like Terminator. At first glance, they came out like Terminators.
Right,
with the heat vision and everything, they came out looking like Terminators.
All right. Well, let me just say from the chat room, the collector's edition. Our boy Danny says, "But Tank, how was the graphics?"
Wow.
And I didn't listen. I didn't put him up to it. Okay, I didn't put him up to it.
I hate you, Danny.
Yeah. But you know what? Answer the question, Tank. Answer the question. But how are the graphics?
Oh Jesus!
I'm not justifying.
All right, fine.
I'm not doing that to you. No, I'm not giving that to y'all.
Thank you.
All right.
No, I'm not giving that to y'all.
Well, let me say this. Ali says that the finale should have been 2 parts. MQ says that he's glad he watched the rest of the series because he almost gave up after the first episode. Okay, we can all agree that the last 3 episodes, although 2 were specifically about the Mandalorian and Grogu, Baby Yoda, for those of you that are not caught up with his name, but this final episode, talking about graphics, let's just talk about that. Those little Terminators that you're talking about, but also what do you think of the Rancor and how the Rancor's effects were? Because he was featured prominently in this episode. So what were your thoughts on the Rancor's special effects, specifically with Boba Fett riding him, like a horse, riding him into battle?
Look good. The Rancor didn't look fake. Boba Fett didn't look, CGI or fake on it. Look like he was actually on top of it. So that was a dope scene.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually thought that was a fun scene. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was funny because he said these machines are going to destroy the city. What does he do? I'm going to go get this big uncontrollable monster that's going to destroy the city.
Exactly.
I blame that on Disney.
Yeah, I know. But, I totally agree with you. But, I enjoyed that, too. I did like the Rancor. Spike, did you enjoy the Rancor?
Absolutely. Listen, I was so into this episode that when Boba left, it didn't dawn on me at all who he was going to get. I forgot all about the Rancor. Absolutely forgot about him. So when he came back, I was giddy like a kid. Like, oh yeah, and excited. And let me say this. They've spent so much money on this series. Hats off to Disney for that. Because
they did put the budget in it.
They did, and none of it looked amazing.
Yeah,
none of it looked fake. None of it looked like, little glitches or issues. Like, I literally felt like I was there. Okay, the Rancor looked very real, and it wasn't like, oh, he only looks real right here from behind a building. Like, we watched him climb buildings. We watched him jump, run, slap, catapult, and gallop. Like, he was everywhere, literally everywhere, doing some of everything, and it looked amazing the entire time. Yeah, I thought that was a really cool aspect as well, because they didn't just bring him in like what we saw with Return of the Jedi. We ate a couple lizards and, went after Luke a little bit. Like, you actually saw him out and about doing a ton for a long time.
I totally agree with you. I thought that it wasn't just a one and done. I think you said on one of the episodes, I believe it was the episode we reviewed where the Rancor was introduced, where you had mentioned if they don't have him in the final battle, it's a wrap. So I mean, I thought they did a really good job bringing him in. I think too much of a good thing would have been too much, and I think bringing them in for the finale was great. Dave O'Donnell says this, and I'm glad this kind of brings us into our next piece of some of the review there, and I do agree with both of your assessment. But the Vespa gang, he calls it the Vespa gang, is still wrong. It's still wrong for Tatooine. Absolutely. It's still wrong for Tatooine. Do you boy? Yeah, do you guys, he calls it the Vespa Gang, we call it Power Rangers. Do you guys still feel that they were they stuck out like a sore thumb, I felt? Again, every time I saw them, I felt like I was watching a different series. And I think that's the problem. They took me out of the action, and they basically took me out of just, the whole experience at times, because it just didn't seem right. It's like you were trying to put a peg into a circle. And so I did not like the Vespa gang either, although they did have some moments and some good character beats, but it still wasn't okay. All right, well, listen, in my humble opinion, I thought there was a few things in there that maybe gave them, some level of redemption.
No, you like the episode. That's all that was, bro.
Okay, fair.
And you don't want to crap on them, and I understand, but they don't. I'm not even going to call them bad actors. They just don't belong. They don't belong. And I think what they were trying to do, because they've been highlighting Boba's age so much, even now characters are mentioning it in the episodes, is I think they were trying to bring in the new hip youngsters to kind of like offset and show him the difference between his time and their time. But they seem like a crew out of a bad CW show. Like they don't belong in here on Tatooine at all. They are riding the Vespas, and they're clean. Their Vespas are the cleanest little speeders or little beat up mopeds you see in all of Tatooine. Everybody else's cars or speeders and crap is raggedy. These look washed up and polished, and they just don't belong. It doesn't look good at all to me. It looks fake. And I just don't like them. I didn't like those kids, man. I think.
All right. I mean, that's a fair statement. I didn't like them either, but there was something, certain scenes I did like. The collector's edition states this episode was trash. Cliff Bravo says overall he gives the Book of Vet 7 out of 10. Well, Cliff Bravo will have a lot to say about that. And then definitely Ali also says that, and Dave O'Donnell says Inspector Gadget more like. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's definitely some haterade on those Vespa people or whatever you want to call it, Inspector Gadgets. But I think the thing that I want to just say, and I have one of the pictures behind us here, where that scene where Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, what's his name? What's his name?
Mando is his name.
No, right, but Din Djarin.
What's his government name?
Din Djarin.
All right, Din Djarin. When they both were flying with their jetpacks, I was like, dang, why didn't we do this in episode 2, 3, 4, or 5? Ago. Right, exactly. I was waiting for this, and that was a badass scene. That was a badass scene, seeing them both come in there. I thought that was great the way it came down. I didn't realize it was going to go down like that. I definitely thought it was really a great action scene, and it was badass, and definitely was feeling that scene. You guys are nodding your head in approval. I would say, what did you all say in the chat room? Did you guys like the scene where Mando, as well as Boba Fett, came out, jet rockets and all that stuff, battling these guys after they had that minion guy go out there and trick them? I'm curious what you guys thought of it. But what did you guys think of it? Spike, what was your thoughts on that battle scene as a whole?
I was very happy with it, man. It was what I've been waiting for the whole time, to be honest with you. It almost felt like Boba didn't really know how to fight unless he has Mando with him. Like, Mando brings out the best in him, is what I'm saying. Because Mando's ready. He's like, dude, I'm ready to die for you. It's part of the creed. It's what we do. This is the way. And, they felt like, old brothers that got back together. They had been apart for a while. They hadn't fought together in a while. They came out in the air with an amazing air attack, which was shot and filmed very well. And it was realistic, for the way they were doing it. Because even though they were taking out the Pikes, they were still getting hit pretty good. And they were maneuvering and trying to figure out different ways to do it. That entire fight scene in the street and that attack, to me, was done very well, is also in my opinion, because I like that they didn't overpower everybody, even though they're clearly more skilled. They were still being taken down because of the numbers and different things that were happening and needing some assistance. But it was great to see Boba actually use some of his tools and do it the right way to fight, which what we wanted to see, to even use the blaster. I mean, I'm going to be real with you. I was so ecstatic that he kept his helmet on. That made the scene for me, because I'm so annoyed with him taking it off. And we'll get back on that later. But the scene itself was done very well, man. Like I said, it was really exciting to see that, man. That was really cool. Really cool.
That was a dope scene, seeing both of them, up in the air, raining down fire. They should have stayed in the air, because as Obi-Wan says, you don't give up the high ground. But yeah, so they should have stayed up there. But finally, like I said, it was good to finally see actually, Boba Fett. He had the knee missiles or rockets, whatever you want to call them.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
That was dope. Mando out there with all his gadgets and just shooting up the place. Because like you said, as badass as they are, just way too many of those things,
Yeah.
and they just kept coming.
Like roaches.
Come on, Boba.
Right. He had a good run. Mhm. The dark saber. Hey, I think it's dope though, bro. I don't want to cut you off, Clark. But I think they're saving that. I think they're saving that for Mando.
Because
For his series.
he still got to
Yeah.
learn how to fully use it correctly.
Mhm. 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 Oh,
Sorry,
it's
guys. Apparently, my mic was off, and so my mic is back. Thank you, Dave, for letting me know, and my mic should be back on. Sorry about that. I try not to cough in the mic, so I do mute it, and I forget sometimes to unmute it. But I am back. We were just talking about, just to bring everyone up to speed. We were talking about the fact that Mando had some difficulties and struggles using the dark saber. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so because he had difficulty, yeah, you're right, collector's edition. There's no way in heck that I would ever love Batman like I love Superman. Anyway, but my point is that, listen, in all seriousness, I can tell you that Mando struggled with that sword. Now, Ali says he hasn't merged with it. He's fighting the blade. And what I was saying while I was muted, Ali, was, oh, wise one, you may be onto something there. He needs to be one with the blade. And, Spike said that, of course, we would probably be seeing more of this in The Mandalorian. But, moving on to this character here, Cad Bane. Let's talk about Cad Bane and the what do we call that? The OK Corral of the galactic battle here between him and Boba Fett. I was a little confused. I didn't realize that in canon, and you guys may know this, apparently Cad Bane trained Boba Fett. Here's a big confusion there for me, which is why he was talking to him the way he was talking to him, and he knew the things that he knew about him. So I will say to the room here, Dave O'Donnell, Collector's Edition, all of my Star Wars fanatics out there, Cad Bane, did he train Boba Fett in the canon, the Clone Wars, or anything like that? Because it kind of was a little thrown off on that. He seemed to have stated that he was. So I am curious what you guys think of that. What did you think of Cad Bane, Tank, in this scene, and what ended up being his ultimate spoiler alert if you haven't seen it already, but his ultimate demise?
I mean, it was a cool scene. It's cool. Seeing even though Boba was getting his ass whooped, he still came in and used the Sand People's moves to win. But that whole what you just said, I was going to bring it up if you didn't. Him being his trainer or knowing him,
right?
What would have been a good point to tell everyone that.
Thank you.
I
was
four
thinking
episodes before this with all the stupid backstory.
Exactly. In the collector's edition, Django trained Cad apparently, Bane, and then he trained Boba. And then the Darksaber was a part of that as well. He took Fett under his wing, Cliff Bravo. So apparently, with everyone else, all of the Star Wars fanatics in the chat room, they knew about this, and we did not. I didn't know about it, and I think that it confused a lot of folks that maybe would not have known that.
For those of us who didn't read any comics or canon, a little bit in one of the early episodes would have been nice. Like
facts.
That little small part.
Well, that's called lazy writing. Lazy writing, yes. Lazy writing.
You got this badass character and this badass scene, and you could have built this up in the beginning.
I agree. And apparently Cad Bane is the reason Boba Fett got the dent in the helmet. So I guess we didn't know that either. So there you go. So there's a lot of things we're finding out. Thank you for all of our collector's edition, Dave O'Donnell, Ali, as well as Cliff Bravo. Apparently in the cartoons, several bounty hunters looked after Boba Fett when Django lost his head to Master Windu. So very interesting. I gotta be honest with you though. Too little, too late. Why are you going to bring this guy in just one episode in, you know what I mean? And then we see him again. Man, this was a cool character. I really wish he would have been throughout the entire series as that looming sinister character. Like, you see him bits and pieces of him. I would have liked to see more of him. Tank, would you have liked to see more of Cad Bane?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was my point before. Like, he should have been in there, like I said, from like maybe not the beginning, but second, third episode, they could have brought him in, and then they want to do their little stupid backstories or past scenes, have something in they showed him as a kid, so why not show him as a kid with Cad Bane, so that I agree. At the end when we know why we know why there's this whatever animosity or whatever you want to call it between them, or that whole scene would have more meaning to it than it did.
I totally agree with you. Spike, what did you think of the setup of this whole scene when Cad Bane shows up and we've got, which I have an illustration behind us, and we've got Boba Fett on the head of the Rancor. I'll call him Baby Rancor or Teenage Rancor. And at that point, Cad Bane is there. And, tell us a little bit about how that all went down, and did you think it was a little corny that it was easy to get the Rancor to get scared by throwing fire at him?
No. And if it was anybody else, maybe, but Cad's old. He's been around. He's got a lot of tricks. He's a seasoned bounty hunter that's been all over the galaxy, bro, through multiple galaxies. So for him not to know pretty much how to at least ward off a Rancor if he couldn't defeat it would, be a bit disappointing, especially for him to be such a badass. So that for me wasn't, a bad thing at all. And for the record, I'm going to go against you guys a little bit. I love this scene. I felt like they had so much, they kind of messed up so much with the backstory with Boba with the Sand People that, and I can't remember the other name they called them. I'm sorry. That you really didn't leave enough room to tell so much of the story of Cad Bane to do it justice. So I kind of feel like they took the approach of which you saw him doing is leading Boba on to where it was like a revenge. Clearly they knew each other. They had some kind of history. And he also talks about how he slaughtered the Sand People. You know what I'm saying? Even though Boba had built a life with them, he slaughtered them.
Tusken Raiders.
Tusken Raiders, thank you. So I felt like that was the direction they wanted to go in to, have this huge element of, vengeance in Boba to want to defeat Cad Bane. And I liked the approach. I liked the showdown, even though I know I'm partial because I love Westerns, mainly Clint Eastwood Westerns and newer, but still love Westerns. But I thought it was really cool. And I loved that he beat that he beat Boba, that he whooped him up, because Boba's soft in a certain sense of what we're seeing. He's not necessarily the same And Cat still got that nasty edge on him where he has no problem with murdering any and everybody in his way. And so to see the scene go down the way it did was very realistic to me, even when Boba uses his training and skills to defeat him. You know, I loved it. I loved the way they put it together. Yeah, of course, I would have loved to see Cat a little bit earlier, but I kind of feel like he's such a bad dude that bringing him in earlier wouldn't have left anybody for the finale. He just obliterated everybody in his path with ease, man. Like, you really couldn't bring him around that much, to be honest with you, man. Like, if you put Santo or anybody up against him, he was going to win. You know, he almost killed Boba, to be real with you.
Right. No, I totally agree. Ali says that Bane brought the heat. We definitely agree with that. Boba Fett was a snooze fest till Mando and Bane. Well, we don't disagree with you there. And apparently, Collector's Edition had this piece of trivia for us. The tentacles that he has, or whatever you want to call that, breathing apparatus, he uses it to prevent Jedis from force choking him. And that's how he was able to best Obi-Wan in a fight. Nice. So there's another tidbit from the Clone, War cartoon or the comics as well. Absolutely. And then also, this one here is pretty funny. Cliff Bravo says he took Fett under his wing, and then he states, "Sir, Kent, host, you would have known this if y'all would have watched the Clones and the Rebels series." So apparently we've got some homework to do with the Star Wars aficionados on here. So there we go.
A lot of content, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, Dave O'Donnell straight up said that they robbed us of not having him a little bit more character developed, and I think I can agree with that. Having a little bit of that, back history, especially you're gonna spend so much time with the Tusken Raiders. You know what I mean? That it's just gonna be, why not bring him into it? But Tank, what were your thoughts on him? Taking out the Tusken Raider, weapon and stabbing him. Do you think that this is the end of Cad Bane, or will we see him and will he live to fight another day?
Well, after hearing what Danny said, I'm gonna say yes to both.
I
think this is the end of him. Future like in Mando, or if God forbid they do another book of Boba Fett. I think it's the end of us seeing him in those. But depending on where that fight happened, he might show up in the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah, Danny says the Collector's Edition, and he was also in the Bad Batch, and he has a very disappointed face there. We all know what happened with our series of the Bad Batch. But anyway, we're not. So apparently, listen, can I say something? Listen,
the Collector's Edition is the reason we didn't finish the Bad Batch. We just gonna put that out there.
Right.
I'm happy.
But can I just say something? I gotta be honest with you, Danny. I have to reconsider my place in that and perhaps go back and see it, because there are some really cool characters, but it's hard to get behind them when you don't know the history of them. But apparently, that's how you get to know them, by going in and supplementing your Star Wars fixes with all these like Clone Wars and the different various cartoons and animated series. So that's good stuff. All right, so moving along from Cad Bane. I got to tell you, one of the highlights for me is when the Rancor went totally ape shit and started destroying shit left and right. I thought that was hilarious. But here's what it was even more gangster. The Vespas turned against him real quick. They turned against him real quick, and they started shooting at him, and they started attacking him, because they're like, no, we're not going to end up his food. So here's the thing. I thought it was cool that they had the Rancor and everything, but let's not forget, the Rancor is it imprints to the one person that it imprints, but that was only Boba Fett. Mando learned the hard way, okay? Learned the hard way about not doing what he did, because that he took care of him. He took care of business. Now there is a picture here that I want to show everybody. Let's talk about Mando and the Mando arc as well as Grogu. Because let's not forget here, what we have is really two shows. One is a show that we all despise. Another is a side, almost like a keeping us sidetracked by reminding us how much we love Grogu and how much we love Mando by bringing them in. But last we left, Luke Skywalker gave Grogu a choice. The choice was clear. You take the Jedi, path and to becoming a Jedi, or you go and you wear the armor of a Mandalorian. And the choice that he made was pretty much clear as day, because he showed back up, and when he showed up stronger, faster, funnier, and lovable. And here again, they were pulling in our heartstrings, because the minute I saw him give that big old hug to Mando, I was like, yeah, you got it, brother. You got it, little guy. You got it. You got it. You're good, man. You're good. And the way that he controlled the Rancor was amazing. What did you guys think about the conclusion to Grogu's storyline that began all the way in The Mandalorian? And do you feel robbed that it was resolved in the Book of Boba Fett? What say you, Spike?
Not robbed at all. I don't really think it's resolved per se. They're clearly moving forward together, but it was nice to see it come to fruition a little bit, see them reunited in this book. Only because I'm a fan. And
it feels so good.
Only because I'm a fan, though, because it didn't really belong.
And I love you, Sue. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
You're way off there, but
I know. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. When Grogu jumps up on Mando, first when Mando sees him and he goes, "What are you doing here?" Because he goes into parent mode, even though he doesn't have a kid.
He's like,
immediately like,
"What are you doing here? What are you doing here?"
And then he gets that big hug, man. He sees the little chainmail on him. It's like, that was really dope. I loved it. I was mad at old girl, though, because clearly you had to hear all this destruction going on. And you come rolling up in this car with Grogu.
Yes.
At the wrong side of town, man. Like,
the wrong side of town. The wrong side of town. Absolutely. But she's a lovable character. She's a lovable character.
I love her as a character. Yeah. I really do.
She is. It's just a flesh wound is what Dave said, and Ali said she called it. Danny says the episode took away the emotion of the season finale of Mando season 2. I actually agree with you in many ways, because I feel as though that it seemed to resolve itself way too quickly. But what do you think about it, Tank? What are your thoughts on this whole Grogu side? I guess, what do they call that when you're going down a road and you take a detour? The detour was this Mandalorian story and the ultimate closure, or at least the decision of Grogu to reject his Jedi heritage or apprenticeship and to go, go hanging out in the galaxy with his papa. What say you?
Well, first, I'm glad that we didn't get a scene with fake Luke and Grogu making that decision. I'm glad, I'm glad it just showed Grogu showing up, and we all knew, because I like that option a lot better. The whole extra story was cool. It's not needed in the Boba Fett show. I see why they did it, because they wanted to have the Mandalorian in there. But they, and also, they had to have Grogu in there to stop the Rancor at the end. So they had to do something to show that whole backstory of why Grogu's back and everything. So what Danny says, I don't know. I don't think it kills, because we all knew that Grogu was back in season 3. He was, he's like the biggest thing of that. So most people who don't like Star Wars watch that show because of Grogu. So I don't think it killed that, because we all knew that they were going to come back together. Just like I said, they just used that. Just like I said before, I was joking, but I was, they just used that episode as Mandalorian season 3 epilogue,
I agree,
or season 0.
I agree.
I think like I said, I think as far as like Grogu, even though he's probably already he still is a baby, so of course he's going to choose to go back to the only person that he's ever seen as a father figure, opposed to up there jumping around learning space magic with Luke.
Space magic.
I know he said space magic. I'm sorry, guys. Listen,
on purpose.
I know you did.
The views of our host are not the views of the House of Fandom. And the collector's edition says Grogu was with Luke just for the weekend.
Pretty much, yeah.
I had to bring him back. Allie says that, but listen. Allie says something very interesting. Allie says, "Listen." She actually said, "Listen," in all caps. So, Allie, we're listening. The Mandalorians and the Jedi had beef. Grogu and Mando are gonna heal that beef and bring balance. Very interesting theory. Very interesting.
I like that.
And then she goes to say they need the money and that Grogu makes the money and the ratings.
You know what? Real quick, I love how they touched on how people feel about Grogu's name by the
I hate it.
chick.
Yeah,
She
I hate
goes,
it.
"What? I'm not calling you that." That's what everybody was saying once they found out what his actual name was, and he wasn't.
It's so harsh. It doesn't sound warm and fuzzy. Grogu. What's his name? Grogu. Grogu. Right.
We just know it. So I mean, I get it. But...
I would have loved it if they called him Boda.
Oh, jeez, no.
Good night, folks.
Oh, come on. You know what? Jeez. You know what? You guys are hating on me because I came up with a very interesting and very creative name. Boda.
Yeah.
Boda.
Yeah. Creative. Yeah,
Boda or Bodhi? Bodhi.
You put a B in front of Yoda. That's so
All
creative.
right. Jeez, man. Tough audience here. Listen, guys, I'm showing this. What do you think about the end where he's walking around and they're playing like the Fiddler's Roof like theme in the background? Like, la, 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 he saved the planet. He saved the friends today. What did you think about all that? And everybody's giving him fruits and they're like, oh, yes, Godfather. Oh, yes. That to me was corny. I'm going to be honest with you. That scene was corny a little bit. Because let me explain why it was corny, everybody, before people get the pitchforks after me. It was corny because not even a day before, they were all ready to kill him and turn against him. Hello. Okay? What say you guys about that?
I think it was extra cheesy. It could be just me. You guys correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I don't know the residents or citizens of Tatooine to be nice anyway. Every time they've ever shown that planet, those people are big a-holes all the way around, no matter who you run across, and it's usually full of a bunch of low lives and other people. So I don't see any of them being thankful. I don't see any of them definitely like giving him gifts that I would take. I'd still be watching my back. You're not going to change that place overnight, bro. You just got there. So,
Okay.
yeah, that was really cheesy for me. Maybe one person or a little kid that was, don't really know.
Oh, well, right. But everybody, it was a little cornball. Right. When everybody's like coming up and they're like, yes, we love you all. Yes. And then they have the weird music in the background. It's like, it's almost like The Witcher, Give yourself a Witcher. What is it? Tap your hat off for...
No,
yeah.
Toss a
Right. Was it?
Witcher.
Okay, let's toss a Bantafar. Let's toss a Bantafar for a Boba Fett. How about we do that? But yeah, it was it was corny in aspects of that. Now, overall though, when you think of some of the things that I'm bringing up, Baby Yoda / Grogu again, I think you may have called it. I believe it was either you, Spike, or you, Tank, that said that the spaceship was going to be the droid. He wouldn't need a droid, but it would be for Grogu, and that's exactly how it went down. And so that thing was exactly like we thought it would be. I thought that was pretty cool, obviously. And then I love how they're having these little bits of him playing back and forth. But if anything, the things that I did like outweigh some of the minuses, but some of the minuses that I didn't like about this episode included the fact of the corny, things back and forth there. But then it also felt very rushed at the end. It felt like we were trying to resolve the Grogu Mandalorian situation. We were trying to resolve everything else that came up to this point. Cad Bane, people coming together, the Vespa kids, all that stuff leading up to this, finale. And so, for me, it felt like, it was rushed. And I think Allie had mentioned that she felt it could have been 2 parts. And I agree with that. I think it definitely could have gone to 8 episodes and, have like the main battle and then, bring it to the finale. But overall, from an episode standpoint, I thought that the the minuses definitely did not outweigh the pluses on this. But one of the things I want to ask you guys, and I'll just throw it to either one of you, what did you think of the after credit sequence? Because remember, I talked about this, but what did you think about the after credit sequences and to find out who lives?
I had to look up who was in there because it didn't show it. So I didn't even realize.
Oh, well, I saw it and I knew exactly who it was.
Yeah, I couldn't tell from like the quick scene they did. It's cool that it's cool that they that he's I was still alive. I don't know who the guy was, the black guy with the locks.
You don't remember?
He was the one that fixed
the sleepy episodes,
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll let Spike. Who was that gentleman for everyone that did not remember the episode that we went back again in time to cover?
That's the guy that repaired Fennec Shand.
Oh yeah,
made her part droid.
Okay. Yeah,
like I said, the episodes are really sleepy, so that's probably why it was sleepy. Dude, it's dozens, man. They were snoozers.
I was done. I clocked out.
Yeah, I was glad. What's his name again? Vance.
Vance. What do they call him? Marshall Vance.
Listen,
Cobb
Vance is a cool character. I like him, and I'm happy that he's getting healed and that he's going to be somewhere in the galaxy. You know why? He's a cool dude.
Hey, for all you guys in the chat, you know more than us, and that's not sneak distance, seriously. When Vance comes back, do you know anything about this? Because in my mind, I'm thinking they're going to make him... Obviously, he's going to be pretty cool, but I'm wondering if he's going to be partly like bulletproof, laserproof. Because, Cade talked about that like 2 or 3 different times, Cad Bane, when he said, you should have never left him without his armor. Like, It kept making that little point. It just stuck in the back of my mind. And now that I know he's being repaired, I'm wondering if that's going to be part of it.
They'll just rearm him.
But he's a quick draw, too. Remember that.
Well, right, of course.
Yeah, he's really dope. So I'm excited.
The only reason why I think he got... I'm sorry. Finish your thought, please. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. That's all I said.
Oh, no, what I was going to say is, like, I think the only reason why Cad Bane really bested him was because he was distracted and worried about his deputy. But his actual government name is Cobb Vanth. Dave O'Donnell, courtesy of Dave O'Donnell. He also agrees that he was shocked that everything was crammed into one episode. But Allie says she did not know who was standing over him. Allie, Spike actually will explain to you that episode real quickly again. Spike, Allie is still confused about who the gentleman was with the hair that was helping him with the Bantha tank.
Okay, so I believe it was episode 3, maybe 4, where they go back and show how Boba actually met Fennec Shand, his right hand. And she was injured. He took her to this gentleman who does repairs on people. Basically what you saw with Luke Skywalker's android hand for his right hand, cybernetic hand.
Or the Vespa kids.
So Fennec has that in her internal, in her stomach area, where she was repaired that particular way. So she's part cyborg as well. That's the guy that Boba went and got to help cop Vanth.
Right.
Who I thought was Vance, but Vanth. So that's why I was excited to see him. And he does great work. The dude's dope. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do with him. I'm sure they'll bring it up. We'll at least see him in one episode of The Mandalorian, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
Because Mando had an affinity for him as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see at least a little bit of him
and
see how he's doing. So that's cool.
Yeah, he's an honorable guy. And also the dialogue at the end with Boba Fett, when they were asking, am I going to be able to hang out in the Bantha tank to get some rest? And he said, no, someone is using it right now. At first, we thought that someone was actually promised to the Wookiee. Yes, what's his name again?
Santo.
Right. But we have Vance in there first. I had a theory that he was going to be alive. I think I told you guys on the last episode. I just felt he was such a great character. And, you know, it just would have been a shame to not see him in there. So that was our, like, total closeout ending of the series. And then the final thing that we see is we see Grogu and Mandalorian. We didn't even end it on Boba Fett. He didn't even get the last scene of his own show. We actually got Mandalorian and doing a hyperspace, you know, kickoff, because that's what Grogu wanted to do, which I thought was cute, but also thought, once again, this felt like a Mandalorian hybrid episode. You know what I mean? Because of the closure there. So with that said, gentlemen, what are any final thoughts before we get into our final round of reviewing the actual scores of this episode and then reviewing the final of the entirety of the Book of Boba Fett?
I'm glad it's over.
Okay, well, we know how you feel. Perfect. Spike, what say you? Any cosmic thoughts before we go to our final review of the episode and the final review of the series, The Book of Boba Fett, Season 1?
Yeah, I do. I've been praising them for the graphics and how things look, you know, CGI, and how well things have been put together throughout the series. But I have to say this, that really just gave me the red ass, was why did they have Grogu walk like a little kid does with dolls? Like, when he walks in this little waddle thing, it looks so fake. Even though I know he has short legs, I almost would have been better with him levitating or moving. Like, Yoda didn't even walk like that, even though Yoda had a cane. That bothered me so much. It made him look super duper fake when they were doing that. And I hated it every time they showed that. But that was about the only thing I did not really like about the show.
Even that little spear he used to travel around in.
Oh, right.
Oh, he got rid of that little thing, man, didn't he?
Yeah, he got rid of it. Well, right. I think some of the frogs jumped him.
Give him a little mini car.
Well, I was confused. I mean, do all of Yoda's species have gimps? Is that what the problem is? You know? I mean, is that why?
I thought it was just so you know he was walking.
They ain't nothing but 1 foot tall.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, listen, that is a very good, you know, a very good point on that. I mean, listen, at the end, it was really cool seeing, you know, him back with, you know, Mando. What is his name? What is his government name? Mandalorian. And Jaren. So is it like Django, like the movie Django? Yep. Okay, the D is silent.
Jarin is the Jaren part.
Okay, gotcha.
And is,
you know, I thought that was cool.
Mando. I'm
That's funny.
This is the way.
I like it. I have spoken. Yo, Tank said, like I have spoken.
His name's Jaren. Tank said, this is the way.
Yes. Listen, I thought with that, I'm going to give you my assessment of the episode. I thought it was a good, solid B-. And, you know, I got to tell you, some of the things, the reason I said B-, the Vespa gang, I felt like they put too much into it at too late in the game. You're trying to resolve too many different things. That's why I got a B-. It would have gotten a B if you would have just, you know, not put all this, you know, Mando stuff that was not really part of this show. You could have given us one episode, but it didn't need to be the end where we're like trying to wrap up all these loose ends here. You know, but I will say I did enjoy Finnick like going in like an intergalactic gangster that she is and killing the entire, what were those thuggies? What were they called them? What do they call them?
Like Syndicate.
Yes, the Syndicate. I was so happy. Allie, have a good night. She's saying she's got to run. We'll talk to you soon. Hope to see you in another episode soon. But I got to tell you, I was dying when she went in there and, yo, she opened up without mercy. There was no mercy, as Collector's Edition Danny would say. There's no mercy in this dojo. So that was pretty cool. But B- is what I give it. Overall, I, of course, love the Mandalorian and Grogu having the closure for that as well. And then, of course, I definitely appreciated the fact that with the Rancor came in and there was a lot of great, cool action sequences and things like that. So I give it a B-, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the show was very disappointing as a whole. But we'll get into that shortly. Tank, what say you on this episode's grade?
Give it a B- as well. It's a good episode of action. Around most episodes. The scene with Mando and Boba, flying through the air, raining fire, was really dope. The Cat Bane, it's like, even though I have issues with them not setting it up more in the beginning, that whole fight scene was dope. The Rancor terrorizing everyone was good. Them kind of bringing Grogu back, while it wasn't necessary, it was still, a good little scene. But after the Rancor, after that, when the fight was over, I got back to this regular Boba Fett show. I was clocked out again. So I give it a.
All right. It looks like we lost you there for a second. You broke up. Did you say B-?
B-.
Okay. All right. And Spike, you have the last word on the episode, and then we'll close out with the series rating.
Okay. I'm a little bit more than you guys, man. So I gave it a B+. And I'm grading with a little bit of grace here. It's just a couple, like I said, that Yoda walk and the CW kids were the thing that kept me from going over the top. And the fact that I do agree with you guys, I do feel like that the the conclusion, the bringing everything together was a tad bit rushed towards the end for me. It was a lot happening there to kind of give you, a conclusion of where everybody ended up. But it wasn't horrible for me. So like I said, that's the only thing to stop me from giving it an A. But I love the episode. Like I said, the rest of it wasn't enough to go a little bit below a B, but B+ for me.
All right. Danny gave this episode a C-. He gave a D for the entire season because he does not count the Mando episodes. And you may have someone that agrees with that assessment, Danny. But let's talk about the finale of this season. The Book of Boba Fett is a series that was polarizing in the fact that we had one of the most greatest supporting characters in all of villain fandom, Star Wars fandom, that actually came out with his own series that everyone, including these hosts here, were super excited to see. And we were all let down big time. This show was uneven. It was written poorly. It did not give us the intergalactic superstar bounty hunter extraordinaire that Boba Fett had carved out in the Star Wars universe. Okay, it did not give us that in the galaxy far, far away. It gave us basically an older, bounty hunter that was weary. Which is okay. People get old, right? Was weary, but also it did not stay true to the character's roots in that we didn't spend a lot of time with getting to understand him when he was an actual bounty hunter. Okay? I mean, that would have been an interesting story to bring us, because everybody plays with the timelines here, right? Why not? Why did you have to go? Why not bookend it with the Book of Boba Fett by showing us, okay, you can give one episode, as Tank had once said, about the Tusken Raiders, or I think Spike may have mentioned it, and then bring on the series of times leading up to The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, when he gets swallowed up, and then we find out how he gets out, and then bookend it with what's happening now, and remove all of the Mandalorian stuff, because that, to me, I think bogged down too much of this series. This series was uneven. The acting and the Vespa kids, as well as Robert Rodriguez's direction. Robert Rodriguez, famous for all of the, Machete movies, the freaking, what is those vampire?
Not Dawn of the Dead or something.
It's the vampire movies.
The vampire movies, yeah. Salma Hayek's in them.
Yes, George Clooney. Oh my God, what is the name of it?
I think Banderas is in a couple of them.
Just Till Dawn.
Dust to Dawn. I think that he was, the wrong fit in this universe, because he tried to put too much of his normal, directing techniques, and just didn't like the way the characters came across, and there was some lazy writing. Since when do we refer to people from the galaxy far, far away as humans? I never heard that in the series at all. So very disappointed with that. Overall, I was disappointed. There was some really great moments, but a lot of crappy moments. So this host gives the Book of Boba Fett Season 1 a D. What say you, Spike?
I agree with you guys. We've mentioned it all along that we felt like they spent way too much time on the Tusken Raiders. I believe that I've said that this was a cash grab. I think it was a last-minute decision that Favreau threw together what he could in a short amount of time. I still give him a little bit of grace, but I'm thoroughly disappointed in what he, turned out to be, what he thought would be a good product. There's no way you thought that. You just threw it out there and hoped for the best. But yeah, they wasted at least 3 episodes, 3.5 to 4, between the different characters you touch on with just Boba, Fennec, Boba's past and future. You didn't have to bring Mando in at all. And I felt like they felt it was necessary to save the series because they didn't believe in it. And that's why we got basically 3 episodes of The Mandalorian. And so that alone was enough for me to, give this a lower grade and not really enjoy the seasons. Like I said, I felt like it was a lot of fluff and a lot of wasted time. I also want to say this really quickly is Robert Rodriguez directed this final episode, the finale. And it was his best one out of all the ones he directed, which I feel like he only does well in fight scenes with directing. It started to really make me feel that way. It felt like he was in his comfort bag, doing this one. Mm-hmm. But overall, I'm with you. I give the series a D, and the only reason it doesn't get an E is there were some entertaining parts outside of the Mandalorian episodes and a little bit of interesting peaks, mainly Fennec Shan for me. So, but yeah, horrible season.
So no F, which is the worst grade, but a D.
Well, yeah, not an E, but yeah, no F. I give it a D, like I said, mainly because of Fennec Shan. Like I said, there was a couple little things that I enjoyed outside of the Mando episodes, absolutely, that kept it just enough above absolute failure.
Okay, that's a fair statement. All right, well, Tank, you have the last word, and I am sure you have been waiting for this moment.
I give it an F.
Oh, wow.
We do it.
Whoa.
Like I said, I'm with the collector's edition. I do not count 1.5 of these episodes because they were, the whole episode of Mandalorian, what was that, 5? And then half of episode 6. I don't count those 2. So that gives us 1.5 good, decent episodes out of this whole series. Like I said, they spent too much time back in the Tusken with the Tusken. Boba was super weak and trash. They built up Black Wookiee, and
we didn't even talk about that, right? Yeah, they really made him seem like goofy at this last episode.
One good scene, and then went out like a punk in this.
He did.
He had like 20 people.
You're right, Tank. I'm glad you brought that up because we've been watching him manhandle and throw people the whole time since he came out, and we read about him and know how bad he was. And he let those little raggedy roaches jump on him and beat him down. And he's got the shocker knuckles, even when they took away his gun. Like, even if you couldn't get a hold, all you had to do was punch him. Like, that was crap. That was absolute crap. And they beat him up pretty good. Like, he was dragging his leg. Yeah. Like, that was horrible.
They gave him a beating.
And this all happens during Black History Month. I didn't think that was cool. You know what I'm saying? Tank, you get it? Yeah. You should have been the man this month if nothing else, bro. This is horrible.
But yes, I'll give it an F. Like I said, the Star Wars series are not doing good. They are one for having good shows. Mandalorian was only one good one. They had Bad Batch, which I couldn't. I was done after like the second episode. I was done with Book of Boba Fett.
It wasn't bad. It's just long. It was like 17 episodes in that season.
And then I know y'all didn't watch it, but not good.
You cut out.
I'm sorry. You cut out. Yeah, you cut out. What was that?
Star Wars Visions.
No, I did watch Visions. So.
Yeah, I'm saying, but that was not good either. So they're 1 for 4.
Oh wow.
So Obi-Wan got to come with it. Obi-Wan needed to come with it.
Okay, and listen, Cliff Bravo begs to differ. I think you were a bit harsh, Tank. I believe if we were to look back at the earlier episodes, you gave them C minuses. To go as an overall F. That's rough.
I gave every episode except for the Mando.
Hey, hold on.
The Mando one like a D or F.
Think of this like a teacher perspective, though. If you're consistently turning out a bad product, and then you had to get your buddy to help you hobble through a couple other assignments, you're still going to get that big F. I graded with grace with that D. Yeah, no, I think you did too, Clark.
I did. Yeah, of course.
I gave episode 5 like B or B minus, B plus B or B. Mm-hmm. Then I gave episode 6 like a C, and I said I'm not counting 5.5 or 6.
Okay,
I got you.
So, all right, hey, listen. You have your right to it. I agree with you. Believe me, a lot of issues with this show. And again, disappointment. I have hope for the light of the Force with Obi-Wan. So hopefully when that comes out, that'll be good. But what say you, Spike?
I got a quick question for you guys. Now that we're talking about this, does this get picked up for a second season?
I do not believe it will. I think we'll see Boba Fett again as a supporting character, and Finnick, but I do not believe we will see them in a separate movie about that. There's really not much more to really do in Tatooine when they've already defeated the major syndicate, and also that Spice storyline was lazy. That was Dune's. That was Dune's storyline.
Space dope, man. It's space dope. Whatever, that was easy. Man. But here's the thing, though. If you write well, you can always have storylines for Tatooine because it's full of gangsters. That's just what the place is. You're going to always have the bad element coming through there. So you could always reintroduce if you write it well and who you want to work with. Now, if we're talking about another season, like I said, with the CW kids and Boba still acting like an old man, forget about it. Let it go. That's just the end of it. But I'm like you guys. I hope not to see a season 2. I've lost faith. I would actually prefer to see some more info on Finnick, to be honest with you. I would like to see what she does. She was cold.
Yeah, she was a great character. I did like her. I did like her as well. Gentlemen, we are at that point now, and for all of our listeners, with wrapping up another great episode of the House of Fandom. I think this was a hard one because we really did want to love this show. I think we can all agree, except for Tank, we wanted to at least enjoy it. You know what I mean? Maybe not love it. Maybe not love it. Right. That's what I'm saying. You wanted to enjoy it. And so that was disappointing. But we definitely have, Dave O'Donnell says Han Solo movie. Yeah, that's another one too. What timeline? Cliff Bravo says the Obi-Wan series. Cliff Bravo, this will be taking place after the events of the Revenge of the Sith when Anakin turns to the dark side, because Darth Vader will be in the Obi-Wan series as portrayed by Hayden Christensen. He will actually return to the role of Darth Vader. So it will be interesting. Dave O'Donnell wanted to clarify that the Spice story was in the movie Han Solo. Apparently, I stand corrected. Spice has been used loosely, like you said. It's the intergalactic dope of the galaxy. So I stand corrected there. But Cliff Bravo, for the Obi-Wan series coming out in May from Disney Plus, it will have Obi-Wan, of course, in Tatooine, but also he will have conflict still with Anakin Skywalker, but now as Darth Vader. So that dynamic is going to be a really interesting one to see what happens leading up to Episode 1, Star Wars of the original trilogy. So that is going to be really good. Gentlemen, one of the things I wanted to bring up, if anyone that's out there, you're always welcome to the House of Fandom. We look forward to it. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Tell us how much you like the show. Hopefully you do. But more importantly, we hope that you're coming here to have a good time and to just hear about awesome fandom stuff that we just love talking about. Wanted to announce, though, that the Townie sports team will no longer be a part of the House of Fandom platform. They have moved to a different platform where they will have their own channel, from what I understand, and we wish them well. And we're just going to focus on what we love, which is that fandom in movies and TV, streaming, you name it, pop culture, video games even. Hey, there's so many things that we can,
Lingerie.
This guy, that we can get into. So we're definitely looking forward to it. To all the listeners out there, from Dave O'Donnell, Cliff Bravo, Melquan the General, Ali Cabrera, all of the folks that came in to show us some love, not
Collector's
least...
Edition.
Right, I was going to say, not least Danny from the Collector's Edition. Thanks for one-upping me. And then, I know, I'm just messing with you. And then just the rest of the group of people out there. And then for the new subscribers to the House of Fandom, welcome to the House of Fandom. This is a house where anybody can come chill. This is a house where everybody can feel safe, have a great time, chat and shoot the breeze over in the chat room. Talk to us about fandom, because we love fandom. So with that, I'm just going to hand it off to any cosmic thoughts for you, Spike, before we bring it over to Tank to close this out.
Yeah, man, I just really want to thank everybody for tuning in. We really do appreciate you guys. As you see, we just on here having a good time, man, doing what we love. And so it's always nice for you guys to come and chime in, hit us up in the chat, and just check in on us. So, yeah, if you do enjoy the show, man, we do appreciate the like, a share, subscribe, and come back and check us out, man. We have a lot to go over and just have a good time. So appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Earlier today, Stephanie Davey, also, thank you for tuning in from the beginning. You had said, hey, what was that cool beat with the violin? Well, that cool beat and the violin, I think Tank can give us a little bit of a background on who created that pretty neat beat. I said neat. That sounds dorky. But, hey, I'm a dorky guy. All right, go ahead. Tank.
The beats you heard are by my boy Joel Torres, a.k.a. Steel Frame Music. Go ahead and check him out on SoundCloud. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell, all your friends, your wives, your kids, side pieces. Tell everyone about us.
Absolutely.
That part.
And gentlemen, it's been a pleasure and a privilege to once again, knock down another great episode of the House of Fandom. Wherever you are in the world, whether it's good morning, whether it's good night, or whether it's good day, have a great one, everybody. This was the House of Fandom.